presumably you have a choice of the experiences you want.
Yes, so the idea was that, but even perhaps a year before you go to the portal, you would start programming, you start interacting with the community. Because the idea is to build community, not to have just one-off experience, not to just go to Disneyland, but to join a community which has nothing necessarily directly to do with the portal, but it's a community of individuals, which is the Facebook side of it.
Yeah, but supposing something strange happens in the US, like a demagogue gets elected as governor of Nevada, let's say.
Yeah, we're about 3 electors away from that right now.
Could they start to subvert something like this? So you could be programmed into thinking in a particular way?
Oh, yes, because it's very subject to digital manipulation. And if you imagine the furthest extension of this is you've got AR glasses, you've got VR goggles, and they distort your reality in a certain sense. There's hybrid versions of it where you can have a little bit of both. But ultimately, there's this idea of the implant. And the scary thing is what if you get to the point where the AI and the virtual environment is so good that you can't tell the difference is the switch is on or off. And that's quite possible, I would believe, with some of the research that people have been doing on not the quality of that virtual environment that is expected to be achieved, which is not a low quality, it's not a cartoonish quality, but it's so real that you wouldn't be able to know whether the person you're talking to is real or not.
I mean, there seem to me to be 2 obvious precedents for this. One is Boulet's Monument to the Supreme Being that some of your images referred to, at least, which was sort of relatively benign. But the other is the Death Star from Star Wars.
Ah, yes. Well,
and I'm thinking I should probably fly a spaceship in there and blow it up.
Well, we wanted to have flying cars to take you to the moon, right? So you could also be able to kind of maybe fly out of the thing in physical space. But I think that is a fundamental issue with artificial intelligence, is who controls it, and does it serve you or do you serve it in the end? And certainly, given the way that economic interests go, you could say that Facebook just wants to make money. It wants to know what you like and provide you what you like. But then there are people that come in and say, well, we'd like to know that too, because we'd like to manipulate them a little bit and feed them just a certain type of information.
Or even just sell you something.
Yes. So the project itself has been sort of a fascinating journey in the what if. I'm not sure if the what if is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing.
Okay. So it's open-ended.
Open-ended, yes, very much open-ended.
And Emmanuel, I'm fascinated by yours, which is really, using the history of Singapore to design the future of Singapore in many ways. Now, can your AI device, whatever you call it, your AI method, take account of the reactions, the emotional responses of the people in the existing buildings to decide what might work and what might not work in the future?
Well, not in this project, but actually, I'm also a professor in the university, so we do research in neuroscience and architecture. So we do like an EEG measurement of how people perceive spaces. Quite recently, we worked with HKS, Singapore office, to look at eye tracking and the EEG measurements to see if a space is favorable, pleasurable rather, just simply based on, they call it the frontal asymmetry score, right? FAA. But not in this project, because this project is more formal in that sense, geometrically speaking.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Again, work in progress, like John's. And I mean, fascinating, as I say, using the past of Singapore to design the future is quite an interesting idea. So I'm afraid that we've run out of time, and we're going to have a very short break, 5 minutes, before we move on to ethics and values. That's okay. But before you go, I must present you with your trophies.
Okay.